Okay. How are you, Rupa?
I am well, good sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm just messing around with my virtual backgrounds, but I am here and paying attention.
Don't worry about it.
Did you make it to High Five the other day? What did you think?
But yeah, it was quite good. The compare has got a dirty sense of humour.
Oh, do I need to ask who it was?
Is it Craig?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. One of the questions posed by Dill mentioned nymph, and obviously, nymph, the insect nymph from, I suppose, classical times, and obviously nymphomaniac. And obviously, I thought of all those versions, and he actually mentions it, thinking, "Oh, if he'd asked that question, he'd have been talking about nymphomaniacs." So I thought, well, okay, interesting sense of humor. Liked it.
Yeah, the one that you would appreciate, of course, right?
Yes. But I didn't do table topics. I was quite happy to sit in and listen. But it was good. It was good. I will attend more of them.
Okay, good. Glad to hear it. Actually, thank you, Simon.
Yeah, it was also more intense. I think just being 1 hour duration.
Yeah, and not all of them, but most of the 1 hour clubs, at least you're guaranteed starting and finishing on time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah. Why did it already start to run over? It's only meeting 3.
Well, I think they were just having a sort of a post-meeting chat for a couple of minutes, so that's it. But yeah, doors opened 11:45, so yeah, it was good. It was good.
Cool.
And nice to see some familiar faces as well.
Yeah, although I want a lot of new faces. That's the whole point of a new club.
Well, it's also quite good because you had a guy from India.
Okay.
So that makes it more accessible, I suppose.
Yeah. I think that's part of the plan.
Hmm.
There's a part of me that thinks, are there, ex-Trojans and Riversiders that genuinely can't do an evening at the moment for childcare or whatever reason, don't mind doing the online thing, that we could reach out to and get them back in the community and that sort of stuff. So yeah, some people don't mind the online thing.
Yeah, it's still mixed feelings about it.
The online thing, you personally?
Yeah. I watched David's icebreaker speech, David Horn's icebreaker.
Yeah.
And it was actually quite nice just watching it in the hall. But yeah, I'd forgotten how good he was in real life.
Are we going to get it back? That's the question. When are we going back to the venue?
Well, I think the question should be put out there, and if we get people's reasons, yes and no, then at least we can try and work something out.
I agree. 100% agree.
Personally, I'm for the physical meetings.
Yeah.
But I understand people can be concerned, but you can't be scared all your life.
Yep. And I think it's more the plan as to when to migrate back, right? How and when. So yeah, I'd be up for it. Equally, I'm not in a rush to, because I'm out and about doing other things. So it's yeah.
I missed your radio performance.
It will be shared at some point, and
right.
I have got the bug. It's literally just a chat with the RJ about Toastmasters. I think it's about 3-minute snippet, and I probably will do something similar on any other radio station that will help me. Right. Yeah.
So was it broadcast live or was it edited?
That was we recorded it on Monday morning. And yeah, I think it ended up being a 7-minute chat, which he edited down to 3 or 4 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Finish.
Nish.
Are you there?
Hi, Amit.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Feeling
Good,
better.
good, good.
Hi, Rupa.
Hey, Amit, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Nishtha. So, Simon, you will start from Sergeant in Arm, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I will fill in for Tanuj for a few minutes.
We need a new president, guys and gal. Them is the rules.
Sorry, what did you
Well,
say?
We need a new president, Amit.
Yeah, we need a new president. I will make a note. I will mention that we need a treasurer as well, right?
Yeah, I'm
and
less worried
SCA.
about the treasurer, unless you guys know something I don't. But the president can't technically serve another term, and we did need to get special permission about David, even though not everybody knows that.
Oh, because David was, I think, for 3 years he was there, isn't it?
Two. But we have to get special permission, and our club is one of the most successful in the district. There's no reason for us to have someone doing a second term, particularly when Tanuj doesn't actually want to do it a second term. So, you know.
But Tanuj is good.
He is good, and he's happy to be immediate past president, helping whoever the next president is. Hi, Samit.
Hi guys. Hi Rupa. Simon.
Hi,
Amit.
Samit.
How are you?
Why is it that you can't serve as a second year? I don't see any specific reason.
It's in our club constitution, our agreement with Toastmasters International. So that's one of the reasons. We have got actually a number of clubs this year that are in dire straits, like really bad way, because the president just keeps staying on. And yeah, some people can be power hungry. I'm not saying that that's the case in Trojans, but in a club with essentially 30 members, why can't we find a new president?
No, definitely. And it's an opportunity. I will mention that in the note as well. It's a great opportunity to interact and connect with the members. I found it really fun because I got an opportunity to have one-to-one interaction with most of the members, almost everyone.
Yeah. And it can be anyone, right? And I promise you that they will get full support. So whoever that person is.
So who is the VPE now? I mean, the next committee?
Is it Momo, I think?
Momo, okay. That's great. Yeah, so it's really good. Hi, Flora. The new joiners are taking up the role, which is really good, you know. I don't think I can mention about the High Five Club in the note. Maybe in the break I will mention about the new club.
Yeah, it's completely up to you. You're in charge today, Amit. There you go. And the president's not available, the VPE automatically takes over.
So I think it's same. Simon, I think it's only 2 to 3 minutes, isn't it? For evaluation, we have 2 to 3 minutes of time. So Rupa, your speech is 18 to 22 minutes, right? But the evaluation will remain the same, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yep.
I never realized that there is a speech which is 18 to 20 minutes or something.
There you go,
always-
Sumit. Get to level 5 and then
Yeah.
you'll have to do it.
Yeah.
So you will complete level 5 today?
I will complete level 5 today. So yeah, you will have that winging its way to you at some point in the next couple of days, and maybe use it as a training opportunity for whoever, Momo, Sharon, whoever's the secretary.
David will also cover level 3 today, which is
Cool.
yeah, that's good.
Is it level 3 or it's like a number 6 effective coaching number 6 for him?
No, I think it's level 3.
That's that level 3 project 6, I think it is.
Okay. Yes.
Hi, Momo.
Hi.
I
I just came to know you are the next VPE.
Oh, hi.
Congratulations. Yeah, you will have full support from me.
Sure, thank you.
It's
I'm
great.
gonna need a lot of support because I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do.
So don't worry, we will walk you
Yeah.
through. We'll have some time. But it will be fun. I definitely have you will enjoy it for a year.
Sure.
Hey, Sumit. Does Jaspreet want to join Amit's new club?
I'll check with her. And that's just Mondays, like afternoon time. Is that correct?
Yeah, every Monday afternoon, 12 to 1 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, so I will mention that in one of the
Sure.
in the break a little bit. So it's an lunchtime club,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be online only. It will be online only club,
Okay.
and even people from anywhere, from India or anywhere around the world can join the club.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
nice. And what's the format? Or you would be talking about it later today. Is that correct?
No, I will just give a brief. The format will be just a 1 hour meeting at the
Yeah.
moment. So we will have the format that will be same as a normal Toastmasters, but we might have to squeeze the number of speeches, prepared
Yeah.
speeches from 3 to maybe 1 or 2,
Okay.
and I'll squeeze the number of table topics.
Okay.
Yeah, over a period of time we'll see, because it's a lunchtime and I don't think people can spend more than 1 hour
Yeah.
working. So we just want to keep it short.
Sure. Actually, the time is like convenient. Like if you can squeeze in that thing so that you're not eating out in your evening times.
Yeah,
from
that's a unique selling point, because timing is because we don't have a club which is for lunchtime. many people I know, many of my friends who said that in the evening they have commitment, like family commitments or because of work and also,
Yeah.
but weekly, once in a week during lunchtime.
Yeah.
I think it's most.
It's a meet. That depends about whereabouts in the world you're actually dialing in from.
Yes, that's right.
With the chap from India, I think it was quite late in the evening for him. So
Yeah.
No, even for India also, it's not that late because India
Hmm.
at the moment is 4.5 hours ahead. So 12 noon UK time is only 4:30 in India.
tea time.
Yeah, tea time.
Hmm.
Or even during the winter time, during the GMT time, it's only 5:30.
Also for Indians, like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening is like a half day or something. So
Yeah, right. It's a half day.
Is this such an expression, Amit? Is it tiffin time?
Yeah, it's called tiffin. Tiffin is a Indian word,
Is that for tea time or what's it for?
I haven't heard the phrase tiffin time as such. I've heard tiffin quite frequently, which is like for the lunch or like whatever the packed food that they give, that they take along. Haven't heard the phrase tiffin time as such.
I mean, is tiffin the metal containers?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
an old one. You can't find metal container tiffin nowadays. It's old time, 70s, 80s, 90s.
I've got some at home. I definitely.
Yeah, I have some at home in India.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, Diti. Hey, David.
What about tiffin toasties? Tiffin talks.
Tiffin talks. Or
Tiffin toasties makes me think it's like a tiffin cake inside of a sandwich, toasted, which sounds about as good as a deep fried Mars bar.
My OCD brain couldn't take it because I imagine the metal tiffins as round and the toasty is not round, and I was like, this picture is not right.
Yeah, good observation. Yes, good point. Because metal tiffins are layered one over another.
Yeah.
For information, Simon, we have got it's layered. In one we have the chapatis, another we have got the curry or dal, and the third layer we might have some kind of rice. People like rice as well.
And then you may have salad like with another layer, and then we may have something like a yogurt or a curd or something like that.
Or chutneys, little bit of chutneys.
Is that the containers which are delivered by someone who may have several loads of tiffin boxes, which he knows whose box or whose tiffin set belongs to?
Yeah, in Mumbai,
person.
it's very common. It's very common.
I think there is a Harvard case study on those guys. So they're called Dabbawalas, and apparently, like they were called in UK by Prince Charles. I can't remember for what. Like there was something which happened, and like those Dabbawalas were called, and they have like 99.99% accuracy of delivering boxes.
Delivering boxes to the offices. Yeah, but it's in Bombay only, as far as I know.
Yes.
Because I think Michael Palin, when he went around the world in 80 days.
Oh yes,
in
yes,
the
yes.
80s or 90s.
Yeah.
I think he met the tiffin operatives.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that last year. Yeah.
And they deliver on bicycles. They are big number of boxes, different boxes and bicycles they carry, and they deliver from offices to offices. Hi, Annette. Hi, Cam.
Hi.
Hi, Nishta. We can see you now.
Sumit, I just saw your message. I'll download it and WhatsApp it to you.
Sure. Great. Thanks, David.
Hi,
Hey, Jayesh.
Hello.
Hi, Sharon. second, I think. I think we have got everyone. So we have got everyone. We want to wait for 2 minutes and then we will start.
Okie dokie.
I think we can start now. Simon.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Trojans this rather chilly May evening. As I think we're all members tonight, there's no need to go through all the ground rules, except obviously to remind people to, first of all, ensure their microphones are on mute unless they're speaking. Secondly, to do, which I often don't do, is to look at the camera on your phone or laptop to ensure that you give the audience your full attention. And obviously during the commercial break, make use of the time to drink, eat, and be merry. But before I pass you over to our acting president, Amit, I hope you have a good night and enjoy the copious speeches, which will give us plenty of oral pleasure. Over to you, Amit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Simon. So I'm just filling in for Tanuj. He has to go to India because of some family emergency. Hope everything back at home. So moving on to the evening. So first of all, I want to welcome all the new committee members. It's a warm welcome to everyone. And I want to thanks everyone to take up the challenge for the next year. And I want to assure you that you will not be feel alone. The existing committee members will always be there with you, like previous committee members were there with you and helping us out in many things. So don't worry at all. We will all be there to help you. On the committee roles, I just want to make one more note. We still have the open positions for treasurer and president. So if anyone wants to be the president and treasurer, just raise your hands or let me or Tanuj know. I would say it's very good roles. And it gives you a lot of opportunity. When I joined PE, I was Trojans. It gives me new opportunities to connect with everyone in the club and also outside the club. It's a great opportunity to connect and groom yourself it's not just a loads of responsibilities on his shoulders, but it comes with a lot of growth potentials and leadership opportunities, which will definitely help you in your professional environment. And finally, I want to say that if most, as I know David and Rupa are completing their pathways level 3 and level 5 today, and other members have also completed their pathways. So just to remind you, please complete your pathways assessment on Toastmaster and claim your awards, because that is not just important for you, but for the club to achieve the DCP points. And this year's, we have achieved the DCP via the Distinguished Presidents Club. It's only possible only because of all of us. So we should continue the momentum for the remaining June and for the following year to help the other committee members as well. So that's all from my side. I won't be too much copious, and I will hand over to our Toastmaster of the day, Flora. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit, and thank you, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I'm delighted to be your Toastmaster this evening, and first of all, want to really welcome you to this meeting, taking the time to work on your personal development. It's great to have that perseverance and that drive. I also want to start saying that actually I am not in my flat. I'm actually managed to go to my parents in France. So I'm actually from France, from a small village where the connection of internet is not as stable as it is in my flat in London. So apology, I just saw actually that you were all frozen for 2 seconds, just as Simon was introducing the role. So just want to let you know. But in terms of my role, it's really about going through the meeting and explaining the role of Toastmaster. So if I start for the benefit of the guest, explaining how the meeting will be running, we, as a group of people, gather regularly, every fortnightly, to have the opportunity to enhance our communication skill, listening skill, but also leadership. So there's plenty of way of developing when you join Toastmaster. And how it works is that through the evening, there's 2 parts. The first part is actually prepared speeches, where speaker or member have actually prepared for their speeches and are working towards specific objective in their path on Toastmaster. And that those speakers will receive feedback from evaluator, but also from everyone. And I really want to encourage all of us to give feedback to the speaker this evening. The second part of the evening is, after a small break, we'll have the opportunity to do table topic, which are not prepared speeches, and that's opportunity of practicing speaking on our feet. Speaking on our feet. So that's where we don't exactly know the topic. We have a certain amount of time, 1 to 2 minutes, and we have to give an answer, which can be quite entertaining, can be quite challenging, but that's a very good way of practicing to be a better speaker. What I want also to do through the evening is going with a theme. And tonight I've chosen perseverance. And perseverance is actually talking about the NASA Mars rover. So if you remember back in February, I think that rover landed on Mars. And so the name is called Perseverance. And at the time I was really amazed by the way, every little step was celebrated by NASA scientists and across the world. And every little step mattered to a successful landing. And I see the same in terms of Toastmasters. So we are persevering through our journeys, through our becoming a better communicator. And every little step matter, and that's how we are becoming better in our communication. So as a startup point, I just wanted to read something that when the name of Perseverance was chosen, it was actually through a contest, and the person that won the contest actually explained what he meant. So I thought it was quite insightful and a good theme for the day. So I'll start, it starts like that. So we as humans evolved as creatures who could learn to adapt to any situation, no matter how harsh. We are a species of explorer, and we will meet many setbacks on the way to Mars. However, we can persevere. We, not as a nation, but as human, we will not give up. So at the theme, I will ask everyone that come on stage to actually explain, what they see as perseverance, and you can either explain what this means to you as a Mars rover, or as in general, how do you persevere, or what does this mean to you? Now, through the evening, I have a few helpers that help me running through the meeting and making sure we are on time and using good language. So I will start introducing them. So Momo is a timekeeper. So please welcome Momo.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Today, my role is timekeeper, and as a timekeeper, my job is to ensure that to keep all the time record during the meeting and to ensure that we run smoothly as our plan on agenda. And also for all the speaker, when they reach their minimum time, what I will do is I will display the green color background, and a minute or half minute later, according to their speech, I will display the amber background like this to indicate that it's time to wrap up their speech. And when they reach to their maximum time, I will display the red color background like that. And good luck and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Momo. I should also say, for the benefit of the guests, that we encourage our speaker or anyone that come on the virtual stage by waving. That's how we give our support in face-to-face with clap, but we don't do that online. The second helper for this evening is a grammarian who today is Jahesh. So please welcome Jahesh on the virtual scene.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, Trojans. And I don't think we have any guests today, but welcome all. I'm Flora's second little helper here, doing the grammarian role today. I've been with Trojans for a long time, but it's a role that I've done not very copiously. So I'm hoping it'll be a good learning experience and a brush up for me as well. I'll be trying to keep an eye out for your use of English, hopefully good use of English, and I will try to give you copious amounts of feedback. You know the word of the day. I was actually, funnily enough, thinking of perseverance as my word of the day. So maybe there's some telepathy there. I was quite taken aback when you said perseverance. Perseverance, by the way, is continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties and failures. So Flora, you've already started using good words to start off. So I hope everyone else will also join in and use the word copious. You can see some of the meanings on the side. Let me give you some examples. To avoid having a hangover, do not drink copious amounts of alcohol. Taking copious amounts of notes. He supported his argument with copious reasoning, and so on. So I won't take more time. I will get you back on the program and come back later on to give you an update. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jahesh. Thank you. A lot of energy into the grammar role. That's great. Thank you. So tonight we don't have an hour marker, so that's usually the one that will test our listening skill. So hopefully we all listened anyway. But we're now going to move to the prepared speeches. So tonight we have actually 3 experienced speakers given their speech. So I'm really looking forward to listen to them. What I wanted to remind everyone is how we can give feedback to our speaker. I really, really value that part of Toastmaster. When we were face-to-face at the church, receiving the little note was super useful, and everyone has, will pick on something which give plenty of feedback to the speaker. So you can do that through the chat box if you want. I think the really useful way is actually to use the Toastmaster process or Toastmaster system in Basecamp. It's really nice to have it recorded for you. And I just would remind everyone to do it. Please, so go to your Toastmaster page. Anyone has any, let me know. Then go to the Basecamp section or the link. I was hoping Tanish would follow me, but I didn't know it was not around tonight. So hopefully you can find it with my instruction. And then if you see the feedback link, click on it, and that's where you should see a box or a search box where you put the name of the first speaker and click on that name. That will give you the page of the speaker, of the member. And then if you go on the feedback link on the same page, that's where you'll be able to give the feedback. And then just press send and it's done. So for the challenge for me often is actually to be able to write it in 1 minute. So we have 1 minute after the time of the speech, but I'll encourage everyone to try because as a speaker, it's quite nice to have those. So hopefully we're all ready. So the first speaker is David Horn. David is doing his 6th speech on the pathway effective coaching. I'll start by asking his evaluator to explain the objective of the speech, and his evaluator is Sumit. Please welcome Sumit.
Hi, everyone. So David is doing his effective coaching pathway level 3, and he's doing the project number 6 in that, Connect with Storytelling. And the objective is to present an established story, a story about speaker's life or a fictional tale of the speaker's own creation. And the time for that is 5 to 7 minutes. And for the speech entitled Humanity's Greatest Gift. So the speech entitled Humanity's Greatest Gift, I present with you David with his next speech.
Thank you, Sumit. And yes, please welcome David with his title, Humanity's Greatest Gift. Sorry about that. Thanks.
Cogito, ergo sum. Those words were written in 1637 by René Descartes. I think, therefore I am. Descartes is the first of 3 quotes I'm going to share with you this evening, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Trojans. I'm also going to share with you the discoveries that I have made about human thought, our greatest gift, and the thing that distinguishes human beings from everything else on this planet. My journey into spirituality and philosophy is now 9 years old. It started in 2012, on Friday the 13th of July, when I got a phone call from my sister telling me that our dad had had an accident. He was in hospital and I had better fly back to Vancouver to be with the family, to say goodbye. Up until then, my views on life had been quite straightforward. We're born, we grow up, we get old, and we die. That's it. I made it to Vancouver in time and said goodbye to my dad. And the next day, our family spoke to the doctors and told them to unhook the machines that had been keeping him alive. In the instant of my dad's death, I saw something that I had never before seen or believed. I saw that life was so much more complex, and yet at the same time, so much more simple than I had ever believed. Thus began my spiritual awakening. I started reading the great minds of philosophy and literature, Shakespeare, Goethe, Kant, and many others. I came across one of my favorite quotes from William Blake. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it truly is, infinite. For man has closed himself up and only sees through the narrow chinks of his cavern. I then started seeking out modern writers on thinking and thought and living in the present. And there are copious volumes written about this. I've read Eckhart Tolle. I've read Michael Singer. I've read Mike Dooley. I've read Sydney Banks, to name just a few. All of them got me thinking about thought, got me thinking about the power that is in our minds. I devoured their content. Cam Baines from our club works for a company called Hay House. I'm sure I've contributed significantly to Cam's salary with the books and courses I've done through Hay House. Each of us has voices in our heads. What's happening with the voices in your head? What are they telling you? Sometimes they're very supportive. Sometimes they're very negative. Sometimes they can be playful, and sometimes they can be really scary. But they're just thoughts. They aren't real. They don't exist in the world outside your head. They may seem real to you, but they're not out there. Your thoughts are yours. My thoughts are mine. Our thoughts are uniquely individual. I've since determined that thought is humanity's Play-Doh. Through thought, we can control the world that we live in. We can impact and influence the way we interact with the world. Which brings me on to our third quote from this evening, from the American industrialist Henry Ford, who said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." When I first heard that more than 20 years ago, it seemed paradoxical to me. I wasn't ready to hear what Ford had to say. Let me repeat. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's true. It may sound paradoxical to you, but it's true. And if you think you can do something or be something or achieve something, life will present opportunities for you to pick up and carry and take forward. Don't get me wrong, you have to do the work, but life will do the heavy lifting. On the other hand, if you think you can't, those opportunities won't present themselves. Or if they do present themselves, you won't see them. So I've shared with you quotes from René Descartes, William Blake, and Henry Ford. Let me close by telling you about the time I met Steve Wozniak. Woz, the big man, the co-founder of Apple. Steve was telling us about his philosophy on life. And he said, at the end of your life, It doesn't matter how much money you had, or how many people worked for you, or what possessions you'd accumulated. What matters is how happy you were. And being a techno geek, Woz came up with a formula. H equals S minus F. Happiness equals smiles minus frowns. And the greatest gift, he said, is that no matter what is going on in your life, you get to decide if you smile or if you frown. Humanity's greatest gift, the power of thought. Cogito ergo sum. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you very much for this journey in our philosophy and the quote from Descartes. Cogito ergo sum, I think it is. Thank you. I love this one.
A good Frenchman.
Absolutely. David, I'm curious, what does perseverance mean to you after this speech?
What does perseverance mean to you?
Yeah.
I'm going to put perseverance in the context of my mum, who's now 92. So my dad died 9 years ago, and my mum demonstrates perseverance every day. She's thankfully fit, well, healthy, but over the last few years, she's had a couple of falls, she's had broken bones, but she picks herself up, she carries herself on. And I've given her a quote that I found in one of those books that I read, which she has adapted as her own, and that is that life is the best game in town. That's perseverance.
Thank you. Thank you. Even better. Thank you. So everyone has 1 minute to provide some feedback to David. Can I have 1 minute on the clock? Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute now.
Thank you very much. So our second speaker is Nishtha Chugh. She's doing a fourth project in the presentation mastery pathway, and evaluator is Aditi. Please welcome Aditi to explain the objective of the speech.
Good evening, everyone. Nishtha will be giving her fourth speech in the presentation mastery module. The goals of the speech are to research an unfamiliar topic and cite supporting sources on that, organize the speech to maximize audience understanding to a new topic, and to move between ideas and sections in an engaging way. I hope you pay attention because she's got copious amounts of energy and a lot of fun to listen to.
Thank you very much, Aditi. So yes, please welcome Nishtha with the intriguing speech title, Do You See Them?
Thank you, Toastmasters. They are everywhere in the world. You cannot exist without them. But do you see them? Do you actually see them? Let's find out. I'd like all of you to visualize a bus driver, a firefighter, and a police officer. Can all of you visualize them? Yesterday, I asked Simon, Cam, and Sumit to visualize these professions for me. Cam, can you tell us who your profession was?
I visualized a firefighter. His name is Ben.
Sumit?
I visualized a scientist. His name is David Einstein.
And Simon?
I visualized a police officer called Detective Sergeant Winston.
Thank you, my volunteers. Can anyone tell me what's missing in their visualizations? Anyone?
Female.
Sorry?
It's a female gender, is that?
Well spotted, Sumit. They are all men. How many of you thought of a man when I said bus driver or a firefighter? If you did, you aren't alone. Yesterday, I asked 14 people about 20 professions, and 18 of the 20 of these professions were visualized as men. Half of the world's population is women, but we don't see them. They are invisible to us because men have become our default for humans. For most of the human history, men have been at the forefront of our social, cultural, economic, and political evolution. Mankind, man-hours, manhole, even our language has deep-rooted biases. In the last 100 years, women have started voting, they've started working, they have become independent. But we still have this unconscious bias that favors men and excludes women in everything around us. Even in the 21st century, the way we design our offices, our cities, our technology, our social policies, we are catering to male biases, male bodies, male lifestyles, and male professions. You don't believe me? Why don't you Google human in Google Images and tell me which gender and the only gender you see in the search results? Look at your mobile phones. They are 5.5 inches larger on average. They were designed for male hands. They were not designed for female hands. Females have to use two hands to type in case of an emergency or if there's a safety issue. They were designed for men because men are the main drivers of the sale in the market. In 2019, an all-female spacewalk was canceled because all the spacesuits on board International Space Station were medium or large. Have you ever seen women covering themselves in office spaces because they're feeling cold, while you see men just walking around in shorts? I mean, if they have the choice. That's because office buildings were designed in 1960s. This is when the men were the primary labor force. And they set the temperature to 20 degrees and not 25, which is more suitable to female anatomy because they have small frames and they have less muscle mass. So according to Cornell University, if the ambient temperature was increased to 25 degrees, women's productivity would go up by 150%. So you might think, what's this big deal about phone sizes and office temperature? The truth is, this widespread unconscious bias is killing women. This is how a man has a heart attack. And you know what the doctor says? Rush to the hospital, I'm sending an ambulance. You know how a woman has a heart attack? What should I make for dinner? Oh, my neck hurts, I don't know why. And I'm having cold sweat. And you know what the doctor says? Honey, have a cup of tea and lie down, you'll be all right. Because for years, treatments were developed to recognize only male symptoms of heart attacks, which meant more women were dying than men, and more women were reluctant to call the doctor and say they were having a heart attack. Now, I want to ask a question that might make some of the audience uncomfortable. Is it true that men think about boobs all the time? Boobs? Yeah? But don't shake your heads. You know, it's probably true. But you know what truly amazes me? That the only time men forgot to think about boobs was when they were designing seat belts. Seat belts. They forgot to take into account the fact that women have boobs. So modern belts do not protect women's anatomy because they don't sit very well. How many women have had to pull themselves forward when they're pull forward their seats when they're driving their cars? That's because modern cars are not designed according to female anatomy, which is why they have more crashes. Even the crash dummy that has been used for designing cars was actually a copy of male anatomy. It's the same case with CPRs in public, because the mannequins that were used in training did not have boobs, which meant that strangers were reluctant to give women CPR in public because that meant touching the women's bodies. Now, I can give you lots and lots of examples that we live in a world designed for men and by men. The governments and the companies are waking up to the reality that they are letting women down. But the changes are happening very slow and very little. So to all those people sitting in the audience, I want to say, if you are into the business of designing products, programs or policies, look around yourself. Look at the women, because when the women don't get seen, they get forgotten. When women get forgotten, they end up poorer, sicker, and sometimes they die. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Nisha, and thank you for encouraging us to challenge our unconscious bias. Nisha, what does perseverance mean for you?
Sorry, I turned off my camera. There's a Japanese saying that says, fall 7, rise 8. It means fall 7 times and rise 8 times. I've never had a tattoo, but I think if I do decide to have one, this is what I'm going to go for. These 4 words: fall 7, rise 8. And that's what perseverance means to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very inspiring. So we can now have an opportunity to give feedback to Nisha. So we have 1 minute on the clock. Thank you.
One minute now.
Thank you very much. So now we will continue with the third speaker, Rupa Datta. Rupa is an expert speaker and is actually doing a final project, which I haven't heard anyone doing that yet. So I'm really excited. This is a long speech. To introduce the objective of the speech, I will call on an evaluator, which is Simon. Please welcome Simon.
Sorry, I was just unmuting myself. Rupa's speech is Presentation Mastery number 1, prepare to speak professionally. She must present a keynote style speech exemplifying a professional level speaker's point of view or message in a style that supports the speech content. Time is 18 to 22 minutes.
Thank you, Simon. And please now welcome Rupa with a speech. We are all Portfolio Now 2021. Please, Rupa.
Would you agree that this last year has been one of major change? Have you personally had any sort of career change? Have you taken the time to reflect on what your career looks like within the context of your greater life? And as things open up, will there be further change? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, I haven't said that in a while. I'm going to reintroduce a concept that I first introduced to Trojans in September 2016. It was my third speech from the Competent Communication Manual, and it was on something that I'm very passionate about, portfolio careers. As we head into the future of work and the unknown, I believe portfolio careers are here to stay. The concept first became a thing by a gentleman named Charles Handy, one of the greatest management thinkers of the 21st century rather. Many of you who are long-standing Trojans may have heard me mention him a few times, as well as the concept of a portfolio career. Nishta talked about life and work in the 1960s. David spoke earlier about what he believed things to be like before his father passed away. In order for me to demonstrate what a portfolio career is, I need to take you back in time. Most of the 21st century has been very linear. The first 20 years of our life has normally been defined by going to school and getting a formal sort of education. The next 40 years, or the next two chunks, were about maybe having a family, but also having paid work, largely in a job for life. This started to change in the 1980s, and there was always conflicting priorities. People wanted that institutional lifestyle, but others wanted to break free from it. And then the final part of our lives, when our kids have grown, flown the nest, and we've saved enough money, that's when we start to contribute back into society through volunteering and other things. What Mr. Handy said, however, was how about we take all of these four concepts and actually bring them into our lives right now. So I'm going to explore all four concepts with you, one by one, in no particular order. Gift work or volunteering. This last year, many people have started to contribute more. Think about life outside of money. And I think many of us have taken on volunteering. I actually consider myself to have an actual volunteering career, which I fell into, granted, in 2013. I just left corporate life for the first time. I met the chief executive of a charity at a party, of course, and she said, "Hey, if you got some spare time on your hands, come and help us out." I stayed there for a couple of years, but that was where I met the founder of the next enterprise that I was involved in, Unseen Tours, a social enterprise that supports those that have experienced homelessness go back into work. I then started volunteering in my business school's alumni. That gave me a network and better connections. Eventually, I found Toastmasters, and we all know that Toastmasters, when you volunteer for it, takes copious amounts of time. However, I wouldn't change it for the world. I fell into the leadership track in Toastmasters and started as VPM, as many of you know, became the president, then the area director, then the division director, then the club growth director for the south of the UK. And for my sins, on the 1st of July, I will be the program quality director. However, all of those experiences have given me something back as well. I've made some fantastic friends and connections, and a shameless plug right here, we have 2 vacancies in our own committee for the next Toastmasters year, and I invite you to think about your service and contribution as well, and what it can do for you, as well as what you can give to the club. Concept number 2, paid work. Now that's the one where everyone tends to start with. Oh, but I need to put my job first. Now, don't get me wrong. We all need a revenue stream. I would argue, and I know David would argue, we need multiple revenue streams. For me, it's about savings, investments, and a portfolio of finance. When my role was made redundant, when COVID hit, because I had a portfolio career, it didn't matter. I still have revenue streams. I have a business. It's a lifestyle business, but I have income coming in. I had other interests in the various aspects of my portfolio. So I invite you to think about what your paid work looks like. Is that job that you think is secure actually secure? And what would happen if you were made redundant or you left? Are there savings? Are there investments to think about? Or have you got multiple revenue streams? The next concept is around homework. And this one is possibly the most subjective. Way back in the 80s, again, linked a little bit to Nishta's speech, when that concept was first introduced, it tended to fall into the category of work that the females had to do. So your cooking, your cleaning, all of the things associated with work at home that is work and it makes life work. However, it's the one that we all, through unconscious bias, still undervalue. Over time, in the 80s and 90s, the middle classes outsourced a lot of that work. I believe last year gave us the chance to reset and really look at how that division of labour happens within the household, but also the opportunities that it brings. For me personally, I spent a lot of time with my parents, cooking lots of Indian food and actually doing some sparkling wine pairings with it. And as a result of it, I have a monthly column in Glass of Bubbly magazine, pairing Indian food and sparkling wine. So again, some opportunities that we put to the side actually create other opportunities. And sometimes we don't know where those connections come from. In my business, through Portfolio People, what's really interesting is now women in particular are opening up about their home environment and how that makes a difference to whether or not you can truly build a portfolio career. Once again, gentlemen, sometimes you guys get the opportunity to do stuff because of your home environment and that there's a teammate there that allows you to do it. Let's review that balance of responsibility, and are you a true teammate to your partner? The final concept is study work. Now, again, for me, it's been mainly Toastmasters over the last 5 years. But let's think about it in the context of how roles are changing. The example I like to use is, are you future-proof? Facebook has been around about 20 years now. But just think how social media has completely changed the marketing landscape. What's the next thing that's coming along? It doesn't have to be a formal qualification that you go for, but are you keeping your skills fresh in some way, shape, or form? One of the things that I've taken up this year, again, partly to do with David, is I put myself through a business accelerator program. That's a different kind of study work. There's no certification necessarily at the end of it, but it's helping me focus. Another thing that I'm doing for myself, rather than with any financial gain or anything in return, is I've had the opportunity this last year to write a lot. So I've talked about the sparkling wine, I blog a lot. Toastmasters has given me the opportunity every month to contribute to the district newsletter. And just today, this book was published, The Bounce Back Journey of Careers. And just before this meeting was the official launch party. I contributed a chapter to it, and it's already an Amazon bestseller. So you never know where your opportunities will come from, whether it be homework, study work, paid work, or gift work. I put to you, the real power comes when you realize where they all connect. I met one of my most recent clients through Toastmasters. Again, he is a best-selling Amazon author. But our work together came just because I said, hey, would you like some help with something? The sparkling wine man, I actually met at a property network 10 years ago. Nothing to do with sparkling wine whatsoever. Toastmasters has given me other leadership development opportunities. And again, my home situation has given me the opportunity to build what I have right now. I can't tell you what the future of work will be like. The secret's in the word future. It's constantly changing. But I do put to you that over the next couple of years, more of us will become portfolio, whether it be by choice or not. The future of work is coming. We're all portfolio now. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Rupa, for this inspiring speech and giving us a lot of idea on how we can develop and increase our revenue stream outside of normal work. I think that's a great thought. Could you let us know what you think when you hear perseverance? What's your opinion on this?
I'm going to go with two things, actually, if I may. So I'm going to slightly copy David and say, the person I think of is my mum, right? And, you know, a lot of us here may have heard the story of our parents coming to this country with £3 in their pocket and what they've done as a result of it. But again, just what I see in terms of careers and the inspiring stories some of the other authors that were in the call earlier today have been through. We're all on a life's journey.
Thank you very much. And that's a very good summary, Leah. Great speech with a lot of personal example and inspiring stories. So thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much to all of the speakers. Could I have the timekeeper that give us the time of the speech, please? Please welcome Momo.
Hi, what a great speech from everyone. Amazing. And as per time report, David's speech long exactly 7 minutes, and Nishta's speech was 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and Rupa's speech is 14 minutes and 45 seconds.
Thank you very much. And before we hear about the evaluation, we will vote for the best speaker. So is that Amit launching the vote or?
Apologies, I don't know how to start the voting in Zoom. So if you can just send me your voting on the chat, 1-to-1, I will collect the votes and then I will share. Just send your best speaker vote in the chat directly to me, please.
Thank you. I've just also realized that I've missed 1 minute to give feedback to Rupa. So can I have 1 minute on the clock to just spend a bit of time on feedback for the Rupa speech? Thank you.
I think we got the decision. Thank you.
Thank you, brilliant. So hope you've all enjoyed listening to the speaker. We'll now proceed with the evaluation. So the first evaluator is Sumit, and Sumit is evaluating David's speech. Please welcome Sumit.
Am I audible now? Madam Toastmaster, David, and most welcome guests. Today I have an opportunity to evaluate David's speech. The best thing that I liked about David's speech today was the inspiring nature of the whole speech. It had a lot of information, a lot of inspiration as to how just by changing the power of thought, we can transform ourselves. So the best thing was the content that he had in his speech, but not just that. I loved his vocal variety. I loved his expansive hand gestures that he did. Those were the ones which really pull you in. And not just that, even before he uttered a single word, just by having a title, Humanity's Greatest Gift, I think that was something which really draw us in. So that was the highlight of the speech for me, all in all. One thing that I noticed was there was a lot of hand clasping at the start. However, that disappeared as the speech moved on. So, and that was maybe for 2 or 3 times, but that was not a major aberration as such. One thing that I noticed was there was a lot of quotes that David had mentioned. I would suggest, like, when we have a speech between 5 to 7 minutes, if we can minimize those number of quotes and expand on those ideas a little bit more, it keeps the attention of the speaker. Those quotes were very useful and were inspiring, but some of the times I felt that I was losing the plot. For instance, in the last, he mentioned, after the 3 quotes, he mentioned about Wozniak, and that was something about, and that was related to happiness, and the initial theme was going on the power of thought. So I thought on the structure side, there could have been some adjustments that David can do when he next presents this speech anywhere else. All in all, I was absolutely amazed with his content, the story that he had. He stuck to the requirements of his project, and we had seen one of the best speeches that David has given in terms of inspiring us on the power of thought. And I would rest with that, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The next evaluator is Aditi, and she will be evaluating Nishta's speech. Please welcome Aditi.
Hi. Well, first of all, let's get it out of the way. What an amazing speech. I was smiling, I was nodding, and such a relevant topic with, very clearly communicating the topic in your agenda, what you were trying to get to, a lot of daily life examples that I could relate to. And I think when I said I was nodding and smiling, and there were other people who were nodding and smiling to that, so I think others could relate to it as well. Some of the examples, of course, were new to me, so quite chilling, especially about the heart attack. But I think that speaks to the power of the speech. I think the gestures and the theatrics, of course, only just added to how engaging the content was. And I think it goes to show what like the attitude of quite an advanced speaker. There's no inhibitions and you're quite self-assured. That's what I would say about the speech. The one thing I do want to say is also about your example on perseverance, because I thought that was very articulate as well. So from now on, my perseverance will also be fall 7 and rise 8. I don't know how you had that, but you had that right there. In terms of things you could do differently in this speech, I have 3 things. So I think the first was you had already done a pre-experiment. So the module sort of requires you to do citations, and you've done your own research, which is great. But I think in asking those 3 examples in a 7-minute speech where you have 7 minutes and 15 seconds, you spend too much time. And everybody else was just sitting in the sidelines, just waiting for what's going to happen now. And then you had very little time left to give the audience time to think about the thread in that. I think you took too long, 2 minutes to get to the point of your speech. It could have been done as a thought experiment, let everyone say, when you think of a fireman, what do you think? It would have involved everybody as well. Second is you did ask me to check the pace. And I think by the time you got to your mobile phone example, you had picked up pace. And from then on, I thought you were excited talking about the mobile phone. That's why you've picked up pace, but you kept that pace afterwards. So I don't know if you were conscious of time or just picked up pace. And the third thing I would say is there were so many examples, copious amounts of examples, that after a point I got I won't be able to recall all of them. Some of them stuck with me, so I remember them. So you could have structured them. There's a problem in health. There's a problem in office space, professional space, personal space, which have just bucketed them or just signposted them to aid memory. But overall, what a brilliant speech on such a brilliant topic. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Aditi. And before you're going on mute, could you let us know what your thoughts are about perseverance?
Well, from now on, it's fall 7, rise 8. So
thank you. And can I ask Samit? I forgot to ask you, if I may.
Apologies, I forgot to mention about my perseverance. My perseverance, I would look forward to my grandmother's life. When there was a partition in India and Pakistan, and my grandmother and all my grandparents, they were living close to the border within India. So they had to leave everything over there and move to a completely new place. She had 8 kids at that time. And to move with 8 kids, start a new life in a new place all over again, and then successfully have all the kids take education and resurrect all of their life in another place. I think that was an example of life perseverance within me. And one of my favorite quote, it's by an author called Ayn Rand, and it goes something like the question isn't who is going to let me, it's who is going to stop me. So that is something which has helped me when I read about something as inspiring as these things, to help me get my life back together and rise up after a fall. Thank you.
Thanks, wonderful. Yes, that's really great. Who is not going to let me, but who's going to stop me? I will remember this one as well. And the last evaluation, it will be done by Simon. Simon will be evaluating Rupa's speech. Please welcome Simon.
Rupa gave an excellent keynote speech. It was very important because it brought home to the audience the fact that nobody has a job for life. And as we progress through our different ages, we must reappraise the situation and work out perhaps what's best for us and our families. Going on to the physical aspects of the speech, I found that Rupa appeared to look tired and drawn. And I thought this wasn't helped by the fact that she was wearing grey, and the background was also pale, which just accentuated the, I wouldn't say it was a haggard look to her, but one that suggested that I think Rupa could have done with a good night's sleep before today's meeting. The facial expressions on the whole were good, although at times I found the eye contact a little bit suspicious, looking to the side. And it wasn't until she lit the blue touch paper, maybe about 20 seconds into the speech, that she actually got, in my eyes, excited and worked up and really enthusiastic about what she wanted to say. However, that didn't prevent her from sugaring the pill with regards to the message. I was glad to see that notes were not used. And admittedly beforehand, she said that she'd committed a lot of this speech to memory and that you would have difficulty remembering it all. But I think that worked to her advantage because she was able to freewheel and also incorporate copious references made by the previous speakers, which also increased the relevance of the speech and its contents to us. Oops. And it was good that you could tease out references made by Nishta and incorporate them into it. And it gave greater emphasis and relevance to the points that she was making. I also like the fact that it was delivered in a conversational kind of style. I felt that Rupa was talking to me or to everyone on a one-to-one basis. There was no excess energy. She wasn't hyper. She wasn't forcing the message down our throats, which I think would have taken a great deal of credibility away from what she was saying. It was good that she was talking about 4 different aspects of work and that each one was just as important as the other. And so that therefore there was no undue concern with the sequence in which she developed the topics. Overall, I think it was a, excuse me, a well-developed professional speech, although I do think she could have made a better connection with the audience if it was given in a physical environment. And one last note, which I forgot to mention, was the use of props. I found the handling of the book a little bit clumsy, but I think that's to be expected with getting a physical object and holding it in front of the screen. Again, in a physical environment, it would have looked smoother and much better for the audience. Madam Toastmaster, that is my report on Rupa's speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon, for this comprehensive evaluation. Can I ask you what you think about perseverance? What's come to mind?
Overrated.
Sorry?
Overrated.
Overrated. All right.
You have a problem, deal with it, walk on. If you can't sort it out, if you go up to, as they say in the army, if you come up against a brick wall and you can't climb over it, get round it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't waste energy and food and brain power on trying to deal with something that you can't really deal with. Ignore it.
Yeah, that's a different perspective. I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your copious example on perseverance. We are coming to the end of the first half of the meeting. We will have a short break. Before we do that, we have a guest in this meeting who is Pramod. Pramod, do you want to just introduce yourself and just explain to us, give us some idea why you are attending this meeting?
Hi everyone. So I joined the Toastmasters on Monday with Amit Jain, and so he asked me to join this one as well to have more idea about how the speakers talk on different topics, and to get the feedback on different voices and the kind of topics that are covered in here.
Great. And how do you like it so far?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. It's amazing to hear different perspectives on so many things and how people convey with their thoughts and processes. So I'm grasping everything, but I understand it's pretty tough right now for me.
Thank you. So we'll have a short break now. I think we probably can do 10 minutes. Is that all okay with everyone? Back at 20:52.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Simon and Cam and Sumit, thank you very much. Sumit has gone away, but thank you for being my volunteers.
No problems.
All the characteristics were, of course, a decoy to.
Excellent speech, Nishta. The expressions he used and the body language was really excellent. I think now you are joining regular the Trojans. You're getting much and much better. I can see that difference, you know, every speech you make. Really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was good, Nishta, although I was a little bit concerned when you were pointing your chest at us. I felt a little bit awkward and embarrassed. When it comes to chicken, I'm a breast man. That's all I'm going to say. But no, the references you made about the car and buildings, I'd come across articles, I think, in The Guardian in the last couple of weeks. So I sort of was aware of that kind of situation, but you had some other things, such as the air conditioning, which I never knew about. And yeah, even modern technology is based on men's dimensions, I guess.
Yeah.
Because women are just underrepresented.
Yeah. Not
in
just
those kind of positions where they can make, you know, where their voice can be heard.
Yeah. So I think
very good references, very good references you gave. Yeah, I never thought of them. I never heard of them. You know.
Simon has pointed out certain things. I think if I were to give this speech again, I would be conscious and I would be embarrassed. But I think I tried. I had so many examples I wanted to give, but I realized, you know, I didn't have a lot of time. And maybe I'll revise my introduction to make it shorter and see if I can, you know, as Aditi said, that was an excellent idea, and group them, say, under health or lifestyle and other things. That might help. Do you think this would be a I don't know, good candidate for a humor speech if I sort of revise it?
Yeah.
I think the message potentially is too serious. You'd have to dial it down a bit to make it more flippant, I think. And devil may come. I mean, there's certainly good pieces in there which you can use in a humorous speech, but it's a matter also of saying what are the references you can bring in.
Yeah, I might have to rewrite this, although I'm not thinking that far ahead. Yeah. So
but it's difficult to know because I mean, just try as a funny speech once and just see how you feel. If you think it's got legs, then go for it. If you don't think it's got legs, then just keep it as a serious speech and maybe do it sort of as a longer speech elsewhere because you've got so much material there.
Yeah.
And a very important message, which I think you need that extra time to emphasize it and to bring it out and bring it to male attention, really.
Yeah, I think it would go really well with the PowerPoint presentation, showing pictures of cars and seat belts and crash test dummies. I think I left out a couple of examples, but maybe that was a good idea because I was already, I reached up to 7 minutes, 15 seconds. So
it's always a compromise, what you're going to leave in and what you're going to leave out. And this is what I liked about Rupa's speech, because all she'd memorized it and she said she was going to forget it. It was fantastic that she could draw references from yours and David's speech.
Yeah.
And she didn't lose the thread of what she was saying. And it was all relevant. Which is very, very good, which is also a compliment to yours and David's speech, because, you know, you had that quality in there that you want to extrapolate.
Yeah.
And use.
That I think comes with many years of being with Toastmasters. I mean, if I wanted to incorporate points from other speakers, I would probably struggle, because I'm constantly worried that I would forget things, and then it would look awkward if I just stood there trying to remember.
No, you already
memorize things, and yeah, that's a drawback, I know.
But the problem with memorizing it, if you have that block where you can't remember what you're going to say next, you're really stuffed. Whereas I think if you just are more relaxed and sort of freewheel it, you know how you're going to link from one thing to the next thing.
Yeah.
I think, because you don't have to, you're not worrying that far ahead, because if you're memorizing, you think, well, I've got to emphasize this word, I've got to emphasize that, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Whereas if it's conversational, you don't have those kind of difficulties, I think.
Actually, I didn't get time to practice it much. I finished writing it a couple of hours before the meeting. I just got drawn into other things, and a lot of things are going on. We might be moving to another city, which means leaving London Trojans as well, because once the physical meetings are resumed, I would like to actually join go into a physical meeting. So in the background, a lot of things are going on with, house purchase, this and that, and too much. I was feeling a bit overwhelmed. And I didn't do, in my mind, I thought I didn't do justice with the speech. I mean, I should have revised it, or at least written it, a day before, and given it enough time to sleep over it and then practice it. I just didn't get time.
No, I mean, you could have done that, but then again, with what you're saying is going on in the background, that could have sort of affected your way of thinking, and just, oh no, I can't really remember it. So, you just take it as it comes. I mean, it was a good speech. There's no doubt in that. It was a fantastic speech. I mean, these three speeches tonight was one of those rare occasions where all three are phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to Rupa and David as well. I mean, they're accomplished speakers. They've been around. I watched David's first speech and I was like, wow, he's so natural. The only difference I noticed was he has slowed down a little bit, and which is a great thing, because we can absorb his points, and they land very well. And that's something I've set, this is my personal goal as well, because I know I'm a fast talker. When I'm nervous, when I'm under pressure, I talk very fast, and that kind of sometimes takes away the impact from the speeches.
No, but you see, but that's being the natural you. And I think what Toastmasters is fantastic. You don't want to be a perfectionist, almost like everyone is the same, because it takes away that individuality, which makes someone think, I want to hear this person because I just like their style. I like what they talk about. If we all talk exactly the same, I think it would become less interesting. I mean, that's my own view. I mean, obviously we all want to become good and better, but I think we should all have our individual faults and idiosyncrasies that make it worthwhile. Think, yeah, I'm glad I listened to that person.
One very good piece of advice that I've received from people like Adrian, and David is officially my mentor, a lot of people, is to actually play back your speeches and see, because you need to see yourself delivering a speech to be able to understand your performance better. And I have realized that every time I see my own speeches, I realize that I do
speak very fast, and I know in my mind, I know why that happens, because I do feel nervous sometimes, especially when I'm giving a speech or standing in front of the audience, an audience. So when I look at that, I was like, yeah, if only I slowed down a little bit, I might be able to, deliver it better. So,
well, I mean, after your reference to David's speech, I actually watched the entire meeting, and I was on that. I hadn't realized. In fact, I couldn't even remember that night. And this is the first speech I've ever seen of myself, and I realized how bad I was because I was wandering around, and my head was down, and it was as if I was just talking to myself, and other people happened to be there. I just entertaining them slightly, but it was interesting. I sort of learned so much about how bad I am that I thought, okay, I know what to start looking for or trying to improve. But at the same time, I personally prefer the physical environment more so than these Zoom meetings. I just miss, the feeding off people, their energy, and just looking at them and just sort of, are they giving me eye contact? Are they sort of interested, not interested, couldn't be bothered on the phones? It's good to get that kind of audience feedback and feeling, which you can't do over the internet.
Of course. Couldn't agree more, Simon. And I think that's a very nice transition to table topic. Hope you all have a nice break and enjoy the first session. But definitely table topic online is not the same as table topic face-to-face or in the church.
No.
But we've learned as well to captivate an audience remotely, which found it's quite difficult, much more difficult than when we are face to face. So we are now in the second part of the evening, where, like I say, is table topic, where we'll have the opportunity to practice thinking and speaking on our feet. Some of us like it, some of us don't like or dread that session. I'm probably the second part, but luckily I'm Toastmaster today, so I shouldn't have to worry too much. And I will hand over that part of the meeting as well to Annette, who is our table topic master. So please welcome Annette.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, and hello, fellow Trojans and estimated guest. I think he's left. It's my pleasure to be your table topics master for tonight. As I was looking for some inspiration of what to ask, I was consulting my good friend Google and came across an article saying 50 revealing questions to ask on your first date. So I won't be asking all of the 50 questions, that would be too copious, but without further ado, I will start with number one. And that question goes to Aditi. What's the most rebellious thing you did growing up?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for that question. The question is, what's the most rebellious thing I did growing up? And I have to be really, really honest here. I was such a good kid growing up. I'm embarrassed. I can think of nothing that I did that was truly rebellious, not beyond the, parents are out and you take a little tipple and only to experiment, or you sneak out for dinner and come back maybe like a half an hour late, but the phone is always on. I'm always contactable. So I'm not sure where I've been rebellious. I'm gonna have to think. I think if I were to turn that around and say, I think where I've been rebellious is in sort of being rebellious to my personality type. Because I was that straight A student, I decided I didn't want to, at some point, I changed my paths, my career. I thought I wanted to learn some new skills, and I decided not to pursue academic career and get a little bit more professional. I think I'd say I've been rebellious in that way. Just even my rebellious example is about my career and my studies. Gosh, this is embarrassing. I need to stop now. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Aditi. So it was a good answer. The second question is, if you had to pick a spirit animal, what would it be? And that question goes to Jayesh. If you had to pick a spirit animal, what would it be?
I'm speechless. I'd love to talk copious amounts about mythical creatures. My association with mythical creatures hasn't been quite common, probably in dreams, but I must say I forget my dreams when I wake up. My wife actually notes them down, so it might be more helpful to talk about, mythical creatures if you take notes. I remember in Crete, when we were in Crete, there was a mythical animal. I forget the name of it. This is, I think it's a bull, a man with a bull head. I don't know, any one of you, if you can unmute and tell me the name of it. I forget.
Minotaur.
Minotaur, the Minotaur. And there's so much paintings about this Minotaur, and we entered this pit where the Minotaur apparently enters, and this was something that people practiced. I think there were it was a sport as well. The people being put in there, and it was quite a fearsome creature, and the scary thing is people believed in these mythical creatures, and there's, maybe it was a way of answering the difficulties in life to show some mythical creatures as the problem. But the problems in life are very, very real. You don't need to create mythical animals. And so I think, that's why people try to create these things to explain the difficulties of life. And I think we just need to face them head on and move on. I see my light's red, so I'll pass it back on. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Jayesh, for your answer. The third question is, if you could switch careers without any concern for money, what would you do? And that question goes to Cam. If you could switch careers without any concern for money, what would you do?
I'm the table topic evaluator. Do you want me to talk
Oh,
about it?
sorry. Yes. Who else? Amit, please.
Thank you. I think at some point of time, because when we are in life, in family, we always have aspirations. We always want to work more and more. But I think this is something I want to do at some point of time in 50s, when I don't want to work for money. I want to work for the society, or something which I can help and share the people around me or back home in my country. So one of the thoughts I have something is like doing some farming, helping the people to do some better ways of improving the farming or yielding more. So that is what I think I want to do without money or for no money. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit. So I've got another question. When's the last time you felt spectacularly at something? And that question goes to Sumit. When's the last time you felt spectacularly at something?
Thanks a lot, Annette, for that wonderful question. So the question is, when was the last time I felt spectacular at something? One of the main highlights when I absolutely felt superstar was when I was the spreadsheet guru of my department. Now, some of you might know a little bit about it, but when I started in the second part of my career, I absolutely knew nothing about spreadsheets, and that was something which was expected out of me. So I had to do a crash course and try to learn as much spreadsheets as I could. And within 3 months' time, I was the de facto spreadsheet guru of my department, because that was the only thing that I was doing. Like even in my spare time, I was learning spreadsheets and trying to understand new ways of doing things so that I can reduce my work pressure. And also, like, it reflected on my team that we were able to do a lot more, and my equity within the team was going up. So that was like one of the main highlights when I felt absolutely superstar within the spreadsheet department of my spreadsheet part of my department. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sumit. Next time I have a question about Excel, I know who to call. Do we have time for more questions, Madam Toastmaster? Okay.
You can do a few, yeah, thanks.
Okay. The next question is, what was your weirdest interest or hobby as a kid? And that question goes to Sharon, please. What was your weirdest interest or hobby as a kid?
What was my weirdest interest and a hobby as a kid? Gosh, you're asking me to go back so many years. I'm going to go back to when I was really young, and I'm going to go off a little bit of what Nishta was speaking about, unconscious bias. When I was really young, my favorite toys I used to play with cars, and I used to have this trailer truck, and I remember being in the driveway of our home and lining up all these cars, little toy cars, and making them race one another. So they were going down this driveway. And I remember everybody used to say to me, "Why do you like cars?" And when you're young, you don't understand the unconscious bias. You like what you like. And I liked playing with cars. I liked other toys. I had dolls. I had, I used to do the rolling pin and things like that. I used to love so many different things. So I was a very varied child. I never had any of these kind of being placed in any boxes that as a girl you had to only play with girly toys. So I was quite lucky that when I was young, it might have something to do with the fact that I was an only child till the age of 5. So I was quite spoiled. So whatever I wanted, I got. But it's quite interesting that when Nishta was having a speech, I realized I was quite, I never put myself in boxes, as in a gender box, that female had to do this and a male had to do that. I think that came with time. Over time, especially with our culture, you started having these things imposed on you. And so for me, I think I would like to maybe rewind a little bit and bring back that certain element of being an individual and being happy being an individual and not actually being trying to fit into any form of stereotype. So for me, I've probably gone off the topic completely, but I think I'd like to challenge not just myself, but challenge everybody. Let's try and find who we really are without the stereotypes. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Matt, Sharon, for that insight. Should I ask one more question? Okay, great. So the last question is, which of the places you've traveled to inspired you the most and why? And that question goes to David, I think, who's been around the world quite a lot. Which of the places you've traveled to inspired you the most and why?
I'm going to say Hong Kong, because I've never been anywhere quite like it. And I don't know if anybody in the audience has been to Hong Kong, but it's a tiny little island packed full of 8 million people in a fraction of the size of London. And the skyscrapers go so tall. And there's even at the back end of Hong Kong, you go in up Happy Valley and there's a mountain, I can't remember the name of it. And you go up the mountain and there are these apartment buildings that go up 40 or 50 stories that are literally clinging to the edge of the cliff. And I've just never seen so much intense and dense population of spectacular buildings. I've been to New York and I love the high rises there, but there's a lot more space. There is something about Hong Kong with the proximity to China and the harbor around, and just this tiny little island that is packed so full of people. I remember the first time I saw a building going up in Hong Kong, and they make the scaffolding out of bamboo. Now, bamboo is actually as strong as steel, but to a Westerner who's never really seen it before, it's a pretty inspiring thing to see people clambering up a building that's covered in scaffolding made from bamboo. So Hong Kong is the most inspiring place I've been. Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, David. I'm very excited to go to Hong Kong as well at some point. All right, so I hand it back over to Flora, to our Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Annette, and thank you very much for the spread of topic, and kind of a difficult question, isn't it, to go on a date and having those kind of questions. So a good rehearsal, and thank you for all of the speakers that took the challenge and were very entertaining on answering those questions. Thank you. So we'll, before we vote for the best table topic, we'll have the timekeeper report. So please welcome Momo.
For the table topic time report, Aditi's topic speech long 1 minute and 29 seconds, and Jayash took 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and Ahmed speech long 57 seconds, and Sumit's speech was 1 minute and 32 seconds. Sharon took 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and David was 1 minute and 32 seconds.
Thank you very much. So we now vote for the best table topic speaker. So please send the name to Amit. So they were Aditi, Jayesh, Amit, Sumit, Saran, and David.
I think we got the decision. Thank you.
Thank you. That was quick. Very good. So now we will proceed to the evaluation of the table topic with Cam. So please welcome Cam. Cam, sorry.
Hello, everyone. I don't think we have any guests tonight, so I'm not going to explain my role, but I really enjoyed the questions and how everyone answered them. And tonight I'm going to aim to focus on key strengths, and also to try and give each person a recommendation, something that they can work on. So I'm going to start off with Aditi, and she had to talk about doing something, being rebellious when she was younger. And she started off by thanking the Table Topics master for the question and repeating the question, which bought her some time. Very clever tactic. But I felt her answer to the question was very authentic, and she just honestly said, I was a good kid, which made it actually quite humorous because she was just answered it truthfully. And then while she's trying to think of an example, what she did cleverly was think of other examples, that other things that other kids might do. They might have a tipple, and she finally rested on her career. That's one of the most maybe rebellious things that she'd done. And I think the fact that she allowed it to flow, she did really well coming to that point. Where she could have improved was when she started talking about her career. I felt like she cut it short. She could have gone into a little bit more detail about what exactly about the career it was. So she actually landed on something she could talk about, but then she stopped abruptly. So I would say, DT, keep going. And the other recommendation is when you're speaking, keep the hand away from the mouth, which is quite distracting. So just look out for that, these little quirks that we have when we're on Zoom. So that's my feedback for Aditi. The second person this evening was Jayesh about a spirit animal. And the funny thing is I've been working on a cover about spirit animals. So I was like, oh, I wish I could have asked that question, because Hay House, we discussed the weird and wonderful, and spirit animals is on the list this week. And he used the word of the day, and he's used it copious times this evening. So well done to Jayesh. And he was looking for an example. He came across the Minotaur, and what he did cleverly was he opened it. He was trying to grasp at, remember something, and he couldn't remember, and he opened it out to the audience, and Simon helped him answer. So there was some audience engagement there, which helped. I would say watch out for the ums, because there's quite a few of them. Try to be aware of that, use pauses, and wrap up with a conclusion. Even if you couldn't come up with something, just wrap up and say, my mythological creature was the Minotaur, and just sandwich it nicely for us. So as an advanced speaker, I think that would help it, your table topic, get to the next level. The third speaker this evening was Amit. If you could switch careers. And he said he would help society, and he talked about farming. He could have again expanded on that. What would he do with the farming? He could have explored that with the audience, even if he's never explored that before. And his table topic therefore was only like 57 seconds, which is shorter than the allocated time. So I would say keep going, make it to the minute. Sameet was our fourth speaker this evening. He drew on something that he's spoken about before. He spoke about being the guru, the spreadsheet guru in his department, and therefore it was humorous, which made it memorable. So well done for that. In terms of improvements, you have the humor, which makes it memorable, but make more of the feelings. Like, how did you feel being the guru? Like, I felt like in 3 months, amp up that feeling, that emotion, which makes it even more memorable. Sharon was our next speaker. And what I particularly like about Sharon, the way she addressed this particular table topic, was she took her time. She gave herself a moment to think. She didn't rush. And she cleverly referred back to Nishta's speech. So she's obviously been listening for most of the meeting. And what she does well is use her body language to illustrate points. So when she was talking about the cars, she spoke about lining them up and pushing them down the lane, which I think she did well. And I love the fact that she then became quite philosophical and sort of had this, ended with this call to action, like, we should all become, being individuals. In terms of recommendation, what would bring it more to life? Maybe a little bit more vocal variety. when you're talking about being a child, get excited about what you were doing, like bring up those emotions, talk about how you enjoyed playing by yourself and you know, playing with the cars. So that would take it maybe to the next level. Our final speaker this evening was David. Where would he travel to? And he came up with the answer straight away, and he said Hong Kong. Very confident answer. What I particularly liked was where he painted the picture. He talked about these skyscrapers and he used his hands to go upwards, clinging to the cliff. So very good at painting those visuals for us. In terms of taking it to the next level, maybe there could have been a bit more signposting. You could have said Hong Kong and then there are 3 reasons why, and then 1, 2, 3, just taking it to the next level and giving the audience that signposting. So I think everyone did really well, really interesting questions, and I loved hearing everybody's responses. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Cam, and we love your feedback. It was really, really useful, and for everyone as well to pick up on, to hear what you've picked up on. Thank you very much. So we will vote for the best evaluator in a minute, but before that, we'll have the last timers report of the evening. So please welcome Momo for the report. Thank you.
For the evaluation report, for the speech evaluation report, Sumit evaluation was long 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and Aditi evaluation was 2 minutes and 47 seconds, and Simon was 4 minutes and 4 seconds long. And come back to CAM report. That was so just
yeah. Thank you.
7 minutes and 23 seconds, please.
Thank you very much, Momo. And Momo, can I ask you what's your thought about perseverance? What does he evoke to you?
Perseverance for me is like whenever I fall, don't fall down, stand back right away and keep moving.
Very nice, thank you. Thanks, and thanks for your contribution. That was brilliant, thanks.
Thank you.
So we will now vote for the best evaluators. So Amit, are you okay to do it once more time? Perfect, thank you. So as evaluator, we had tonight Sumit, Aditi, Simon, and Cam.
We are still looking for more votes. Okay, I think we are fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our final report before we, before I hand over to Amit is the grammarian report. So please welcome Jahesh.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. It was I must say, a cornucopia of phrases and quotes in this peppered around the speeches and the evaluations, and pretty much everyone. I think being the grammarian, it gave me the opportunity to really listen into these phrases and the illustrative words that people were using. probably not the only thing that a grammarian should be looking at, but that was the one that I focused on today. So to start off, I thought I'll pick on a few that David mentioned during his speech. I think, therefore I am, Descartes. And then William Blake, I picked up the last bit, narrow chinks in his cavern. The word chink, it's a chink is a narrow opening, typically one that lets in some light. So chink in your armor. Then there was also a quote from Henry Ford. And since there's no Harkmaster, I thought I'll let anyone in the audience tell me what it is. If anyone can remember, what was Henry Ford's quote?
If you think you can do it, or if you think you can't, you're right.
Yay! Thank you, Rupa. 10 marks. If I had chocolate, I'd be throwing it. Then there was Nishta. It was a really entertaining speech and a very powerful one as well, and timely. The word unconscious bias, it really picked up after that, and so many people started using that word, and that's really good use of the English language, because it's a powerful sort of phrase. Unconscious bias is killing women. And the use of three, among many, Nishta also used this powerfully, and forefront of our social, cultural, political arenas, for example. And I like the phrase or the saying, world designed by men, by men and for men. Then Rupa's speech, we are all portfolio now. Again, the use of three, the exploring concepts, gift work, volunteering. The gift work, I didn't realize was a word for volunteering. So it's probably one that I'll note down. Future-proof your life was another one. Keep yourself fresh in many shapes and forms. And the connection to right now, the uncertainty during the pandemic is quite powerful, using phrases like, as we head to the unknown. I think it brings you back to the topic of the speech. Sumit with his spreadsheet guru, that's a guru is a Sanskrit word. And I think it's really useful in the English language to convey that message of someone who's super skilled at something. And he used the word when he evaluated, I think, David, expansive hand gestures. Expansive is very, very evocative, I thought. And then Aditi, nodding and smiling. She kept using that phrase several times, and I really liked it. I think it really was useful in the context of the evaluation. Use of three things and bang, bang, bang. And then words like speak to the power of the speech, theatrics, no inhibition, self-assured. Wonderful. And Simon, nobody has a job for life. He started off with that, and that's very true, but it's a very descriptive style of speaking, and in my eyes, she got excited, able to freewheel. So this is just a sample of the phrases and sayings and quotes this evening. And I must thank everyone for using the word copious, especially Simon, Amit, David, Aditi, Rupa, and Cam. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm actually gonna close now with my role. I've enjoyed the meeting. It's an amazing time to actually hear about philosophy, future of career, but also the unconscious bias and then all of the other interesting topic that we had in the table topic. So thank you very much. Thank you to all who participate. Thank you for my little helper. You made the meeting almost, running on time. So thank you, Momo. And I now hand over to Amit for award and closing remark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Flora, for running such a successful meeting and finishing us in time, even we had the long speech. So without wasting much time, I will just announce this awards. So the best table topics, I'll start with best table topic award. So the best table topic award goes to David. Congratulations, David. We can unmute ourselves and say congratulations to David.
Congratulations, David.
Congratulations to David.
Thank you.
And the best speaker award goes to Rupa. Congratulations, Rupa.
Well done, Roops.
And the best evaluator award goes to Cam. Congratulations, Cam.
Well done, Cam.
Everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for attending the meeting, club meeting, and it was a very successful meeting, as you said. So again, request everyone to think about the two roles, the treasurer role and the president role we have open. And also I want to mention that we have started a new club in our district, which is the High Five Club. It is a completely online club. It's a lunchtime club and meets every Monday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. If any of your friends, family, or wants to join, or if you want to come along and help the club grow, you're always welcome as a Toastmaster. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.